You are in a science lecture, and your teacher is lecturing you about how you should try and lower your fast food and soft drink consumptions due to tremendously large amount of fat and sugar in it. Now, ever since you were a kid, you've been listening to the same discussion and the same lecture, so your eyes are just glued onto your watch. 5 minutes till class ends, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and finally, your savior, the bell rings. You dart towards the school's cafeteria to grab your lunch. However, the first thing that you see in the school's cafeteria is vending machines. In that vending machine, you find out that there are all sorts of soft drinks starting from Coca-Cola, Sprite, Dr. Pepper, and numerous different kinds of juice boxes. And then you think to yourself about this previous science lecture that you were just wanting to get through. What was that point of that science lecture about teachers trying to teach you about how unhealthy junk foods and soft drinks are, when the first thing that students see in the school's cafeteria are soft drinks? And no matter how much you want to know the point, the ugly truth is you won't, because that is a severe problem that is many times ignored by people. So today I would like to inform you about why you should pay a closer attention to this problem of selling junk foods, but more specifically to soft drinks in schools. Now, I've been emphasizing this term school a lot, but what actually is school? And school, according to Google's dictionary, is an institution for educating children. And if the school really is an institution for educating children, then school should, yes, of course, always let students know what's in soft drinks and how it could damage you, but also additionally to how students could use that information to actually put it into action. So if a student's in a math lecture and if the teacher is teaching about fractions, that student will never fully understand what a fraction is unless they solve a problem by themselves and actually put the information that they learned into a problem. So if the soft drinks and vending machines are actually in school, it is somewhat encouraging the students to actually consume unhealthy foods and drinks. So when unhealthy food and drinks are actually in school, this would definitely not help students' health. And now when I told this to my friend told me that with her arms crossed, she said, well, we've got this thing called students' rights, and shouldn't it be acknowledged? Schools can boss around what students want to consume or not. It's, by the way, our money. And so I was a bit stunned by her statement. Yes, it was our money, and it was our choice to spend it or not in unhealthy foods. And we should always acknowledge students' rights. But should those students' rights be acknowledged when it comes to their own health and their own good? Maybe not. So unless this proves why students should always consume healthy foods, just for their own benefit. So when I told this to my friend also encountered that, well, especially after physical education, we need refreshing soft drinks to hydrate ourselves. But many people don't actually perceive the truth that soft drinks are actually the cause of dehydration. Well, maybe physical education might also be the cause, but soft drinks will even dehydrate you more. Therefore, if you're dehydrated during a soccer match or physical education, you should always pick water over soft drinks. Now, I prepared this graph right over here, and it says, does your school sell ... which is asked of U.S. teenagers aged from 13 to 17-year-olds, and it says the percentage of yeses. So it says, does your school sell soda? 74% yes. Does your school sell candy? 77% yes. Does your school sell chips and other similar snacks? 90% yes. So it tells you how serious this problem of selling junk foods is in U.S. in U.S. schools, and you can easily tell that the majority of the schools in the U.S. Is selling unhealthy foods to children in schools right now. And it seems like a huge problem, and it is, but problems always tend to have solutions. So if a child used to drink a single juice box with his sandwich every day during his lunch class, which is about 100 calories per juice box, if the school suddenly banned this soft drinks and juice boxes, then that child would not be consuming a single single juice box. Well, this might not seem that much at first, but when it comes to a year, that student would not be consuming 365 juice boxes a year, and that student will also not be consuming 36,500 calories a year. So by banning just soft drinks and juice boxes in school, you can see how it could drastically change a student's health. So this kind of school mainly has the responsibility to this kind of problem of selling junk foods and soft drinks in school. And it would not end unless schools take action. I'm not saying that school teachers should from now on run down to a convenience store at 3 a.m. to check on students if they're consuming anything unhealthy or not. No, that's not their job, but what I'm actually trying to say is that at least in schools where students are being learned that soft drinks is unhealthy, then soft drinks should never be seen in schools. Soft drinks don't belong in schools, just like guns don't. Thank you.